make a change at offensive coordinator, play caller during the season?
Yeah, we did some different things as we continued to go through. Like I told you guys, I did more, got involved more. At the end of the day, I did what I thought was best for the football team, and we didn't reach our goals, so obviously it didn't work out. But that's why again we did what we thought was best for the team.
Why did you remove Kevin from offensive coordinator?
Yeah, again, I think it's important that we continue to evolve as an offense and that we, go out and do what's best for this football team. And again, everything that I do and every decision I have to make, I have to do that with what's in mind, with just like Howie does, just like Mr. Laurie does, with the intent of being the best thing for the football team. And at this particular point, I love Kevin and everything that he has provided to this coaching staff for his 5 years here. Big reason why we've won a lot of football games. But at this particular point, I just felt like that's what I needed to do to be the best thing for the football team.
As you look for a new OC, what are the criteria for that position, and how do you want the setup to be with the coaching staff?
Yeah, again, you're looking to continue to evolve as an offense, and I'm looking to bring in the guy that's going to best help us do that. And I think that there are many different ways to be successful on offense, and everybody has different styles, everybody has different players, and there's many different ways to be successful. Like I said, I think you start to get into situations when you're certain, like this is the only thing that makes you successful at offense, and that's just not the case, right? There's a lot of different things and there's a lot of different ways to do it, and that's not only as an offensive coordinator, but a defensive coordinator, a wide receiver coach, a defensive line coach, a head coach. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and again, it's about going out and finding the guy that best fits us, and looking forward to that interview process and being able to go through some really good candidates. And I'm looking forward to that.
Now, you look for an offensive coordinator. How important is it to have?
I'm looking. Go ahead.
Nick, is the expectation that you'll be just as involved with the offense as you have in the past with the collaborative approach, or is this coordinator going to run the offense and you'll focus on?
Yeah, I think that's really, that's way early. Those decisions don't have to be made until, for a long time. And there's always, as the head coach, you always have to be oversight of everything. And again, this year, obviously, I got involved more in the offense as the end of the season came, but because that's what I needed to do as the head football coach there. And so, again, many different ways to do it. I know that I want to be the head football coach, and I think that that's what the team needs. Again, everything I'm doing is not about what I want to do or anything like that. It's what I think is best for the football team. And I think it's best for the football team when I'm the head football coach, and being able to give my expertise on whatever it may be, tackling, taking the ball away, protecting the football, anything on off. It could be anything, special teams. So, again, you have to be so intertwined as the leader of an organization. You have to be so intertwined with every different thing. And so, we'll see where all that goes, as far as that goes. But, we've had a lot of success, doing it differently. Again, it's never like this is the certain thing you have to do. And it's like there's a lot of different ways to do it, and different times of the season and different times of the year call for different things. And so we'll see how that plays out. But that's not something that's, that's not where we're not there yet as far as that goes.
Howie, I was going to ask you, as far as an offensive coordinator, as you're looking for one, does it matter? Would you like someone to stay here longer than 1 year? Is that taken into account, and will he be given maybe the freedom to build his own staff?
It's a great compliment when guys get head coaching jobs from here, because it means we're having tremendous success. So, as much as you'd like to have continuity and like to have guys here for a long period of time, we want to win. We have an urgency to win right now. And if that comes with the ramifications that we lose good people because they've earned head coaching jobs, we'll live with that.
Nick, as far as Kevin, as far as building the staff, will he be given the freedom to bring in his people to to work on staff with him.
Yeah, again, that's, we'll see where that is, and to say what, that to answer that question, like you'd have to know exactly who you're hiring exactly right now and who he has and what they have. Again, we'll get to all that. Our job right now and our thought process right now is to get the best candidate possible, cast a wide net there, and interview some of these great candidates that are out there and find the best guy that fits the Philadelphia Eagles.
And I would say this, like I just would say, with Coach, I got a lot of things that I'd like to say about Coach and the job that he's done here. Incredibly proud of him. But, he's shown that when we bring people in that he's open to doing whatever's best for this football team. And that's all he cares about is winning. And so anything that he's answering here obviously is dependent on who we bring in. But when he's brought in people, he's given them the flexibility to put their own spin on things. And obviously, I sit here and I feel incredibly grateful that I'm working with someone who, as a head coach, is elite at being a head coach, elite at building connection with our team, elite about talking about fundamentals, game management, situational awareness, bringing the team together, holding people accountable. And when you're looking for a head coach, those are really the job descriptions. And as you're building out a coaching staff, you're talking about being able to do that, being able to have elite play callers on both sides of the ball. And when you think about how hard it is to find those three things and that we have one, we're starting with a huge advantage. So I think that puts us in a great spot.
As far as Kevin goes, because of the statement, there was some thought that he might remain in the organization in a different role. Is that possible?
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I know Kevin's going to have other opportunities, and obviously always want what's best for Kevin and for his family, and so we'll see how that plays out.
This question is for both Howie and Nick. What role do you guys see that Jalen Hurts had in the offensive progression this year?
Again, when you talk about I think what I felt throughout the year was there was a lot of questions on Kevin, and like I've said to you guys, like we all had a hand in our offense this year, good, bad, you name it. We all had a hand in it, and that's every coach, every player, myself obviously at the front of that list. But again, I love Jalen Hurts. I love everything that he brings to the table. Every time you step on the field, you feel very confident you can win any game that you're going to play when you have him as your quarterback, and he's shown that to this organization, to myself, to Howie, to the city, that he's a winner, and he is able to do many different things at a very high level. But again, anything that whether it was winning the games or whether it was us not playing up to our performance on offense, we all have our hands in that, and that's what again I love about this team. Everyone's looking at themselves first and foremost to say, what could I have done better in this scenario? And that's why I love these players that Howie's brought in. You feel that's why we have the connection that we do, is that everybody is saying, man, if I would have done this or if I would have done that. You do that after game, you do that after your reflection of the year. And again, you in this great team sport, you win as a team, you lose as a team. And yeah.
Howie, how did you view the quarterback play this year?
Yeah, we all got to look at ourselves and what we could do better. I think, it's a disappointing season. We sit here and want to be playing right now, and I think for that, getting a chance to really go back and reflect. Sometimes when you're in the middle of the season, you're week to week, and you're kind of going through and what happened last week and what are you doing this week. And so I think what Coach has said, we have won a lot of games with Jalen as our quarterback. We've won a world championship with him as an MVP in that game. And so I think, obviously, he's done a tremendous job as our starting quarterback.
AJ expressed their happiness throughout the season.
Sometimes I feel like we need like a deli counter and just like pick numbers and go from here.
If it makes sense, are you open to trading him, or is that just a non-starter?
Yeah, we talked about this, I think, at the trade deadline last time I talked. It is hard to find great players in the NFL, and AJ is a great player. I think from my perspective, that's what we're going out and looking for when we go out here in free agency in the draft, is trying to find great players who love football, and he's that guy. So I think that would be my answer.
Nick, you mentioned finding a fit for the Eagles. What are you looking for in a candidate's plan for Jalen, especially to the past year, the way defenses were playing him differently?
Yeah, again, there is not, as I said to you guys, it's not like, hey, this is what it has to be. There are many different ways to do this, and I think sometimes in this game we're like, some people are just they're so certain that it's like. There are so many different ways to be a head coach. There are so many different ways to be an offensive coordinator. There are so many different ways to be a quarterback and be successful at all those different things. And so again, as we go through this, you always want to see somebody that has a great vision. To answer your question and not, give you some specifics at least, is like you always want someone that has a great vision and great conviction of things that they believe in and what they want to do. You always want to have somebody that has the players on their mind first, and we'll be able to attract a lot of good candidates because of the players that Howie's assembled to be on our football team. I think also that you'll be able to get a lot of good candidates because the guys that have been here and when we've had a lot of success, 3 of them have been head coaches, off of our staff, which, obviously I'm proud of. I'm sure Howie's proud of as well. And so, again, you want somebody that has great vision, great conviction on what they do, is able to coach fundamentals well to help the players get better. Because I believe in that can connect with guys, because I believe in that, that has the mental toughness, because I believe in that. And, but again, it's not, there's a lot of good candidates, and looking forward to sitting down and talking to a lot of these guys. But there's different things that make different guys special, and so it's about finding the guy that best fits us, that gives us the best chance to be, get back to the top of the mountain where we ultimately want to go. And man, again, like I said, a lot of good candidates out there.
There's a lot of resources, Howie, invested in the offensive side of the ball. What was your assessment as to what went wrong and what needs to improve for next year?
Yeah, I think that anything that I'm assessing, I'm going over with Coach, and I think those conversations on how we need to improve, I don't think that gives us any edge to talk about that publicly, because obviously we're getting into an off-season mode where we're trying to acquire players. So we'll go through a deep evaluation. We're disappointed. We're disappointed that we're having this press conference here, that we're not playing this weekend, and I can promise you we're going to do whatever it takes to try to get better.
Has Lane Johnson given you any indication as to whether or not he's going to return or not? Have you got any indication?
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, Lane Johnson. Yeah, have you got any indication from him if he's going to be back or if he will retire?
Yeah, I think all those conversations that we have with our players are between us, and anything they're doing, I'm not saying that negatively or positively, but anyone you ask about, I think that's their business to discuss. Obviously, you're talking about a Hall of Fame player who's been a huge part of any of our success that we've had. And when you watch him play, he's still playing at an elite level.
As a last person's question, how much weight will Jalen's voice hold in this offensive coordinator search? He mentioned the other day about how his line is open for these types of things.
I think at the, when we were going through an offensive coordinator search, I would compare it very similar to, when I'm thinking about how to, what the right path is to how practice goes that week or what the schedule is. Of course, you have so many resources to be able to use to help you make the best decision that you possibly can. And you'd be foolish not to use all your resources, whether that's, when you speak of that, it's like, all right, I'm checking with the doctors, I'm checking with it's the same thing in a offensive coordinator search. I'm gonna obviously, talk to Howie through it. Howie's gonna talk to the guys. I'm gonna get Howie's opinion and Mr. Lurie's opinion and Jalen and Saquon and you name AJ, Lane, well, whoever it may be, and let them talk to him too. But at the end of the day, right, I have to make the best decision that's necessary for the football team, but you use all your resources. I think it's very similar. Not to speak for Howie, but I'm going to speak for Howie. Is like when he's picking players, he uses all his resources. He uses the coaches. There's so many different things that he uses to help him make the best informed decision that he possibly can make. Well, it's the same thing here. You use all your resources that can help you make the best decision possible, and we have so many valued people in this organization to be able to do that. At the end of the day, the coaching hires fall on my shoulders, and I have to do what's best for the team while using all the resources that I have and using my wisdom and my judgment to help make that best decision.
A couple more. Our team's best seasons. How do you view the offseason and the season you had last year?
Not good enough. If it doesn't end with confetti falling on our head, I don't feel like it's good enough. And I know that we're not going to win the Super Bowl every year. I think I know that from a broad perspective, but I believe we can. And I go into every offseason thinking we're going to do whatever it takes to win a Super Bowl. And when we fall short, I look at myself. I look at the things that I could have done different. And I look to improve, and that's where I'm at right now.
How big a factor were the injuries to the offensive line? I'm not just talking about me, and obviously Cam and Landon also had dealt with issues. And how much can you count on those guys, making it through a whole season going forward?
Yeah, injuries are a part of this game, and building depth is a part of my job, and something that I think is incredibly important when you're talking about our lines. And so you don't go into a season thinking that you're going to play 20 games and everyone's going to be perfectly healthy. Saying that, I would say that our training staff, our doctors, our performance staff did an unbelievable job this year of keeping our guys healthy. I think that, when we build teams, we're looking to build teams with guys who can come in and play at a high level and start and win with, because you're going to have injuries and guys are going to miss games. That's happened in our best season during the course of the season. That happened this year. Guys were ready to step in and play at a high level. And again, we'll go through our whole team. I'll go through it again and again and again, like I've done through the course of the season. We'll come up with a plan to try to improve and to make sure that we're a better team in 2026.
Howie, obviously last offseason you lost a lot of free agents because of the cap situation. How do you anticipate this offseason going as far as that? Do you think you'll have the resources to keep guys you want to keep?
Well, as you get better, you have a natural arc of the team, and I think that when you look at our team, we draft a lot of offensive players. We signed a lot of offensive players. We drafted a lot of defensive players that were young on rookie contracts. So there's natural transition in what we do, and I'm not making an excuse for anything, but there's a natural transition in that in terms of where you're paying your guys, which side of the ball you're paying guys, who are coming up. The important thing for us is there are players that we can't lose. Obviously, we're going to do what's best for us, and we're not going to do whatever it takes to do whatever it takes, but within reason, and that we want to keep around here because they're really good players, homegrown players that are really good people that are part of our core. And so with that, you're going to have to make sacrifices, and that's on me to make sure that the sacrifices we make are filled in with really good players again. I'm proud since Coach has been here of our first and second day draft success. I think we've drafted 15 guys since Nick has been here in the first and second day, and 14 of them have been long-term starters. We got to keep hitting like that, and I know that's hard, but we got to keep doing it, and that means we have to have a good process. We got to understand the people that we're bringing into the building. We got to understand the roles and the vision that we have for them when they're playing, and if we do that, good things will happen, and we'll be able to keep the players that we need to keep under long-term contracts and have an influx of young players that are really good that can play at a high level.
Nick, when you guys hired Kellen Moore, you retained a lot of the coaching staff outside of him. Is the expectation that this new offensive coordinator will get to hire his own staff under, or are you going to retain as well?
Yeah, I think I talked about that a little earlier. It's just you don't know, right? You don't know who the candidate is quite yet. I know this. Let me start by saying I know we have some really good coaches on throughout the entire building. Some really good coaches, and we've won a lot of games together. Shoot, a lot of the guys that are in this building now won a Super Bowl not even 12 months ago together. But yeah, sometimes again, like you have to wait to see what's going on and where and who you hire and what their situation is, and some coaches that you hire, like, they might not be able to get anybody, the guys that they want, or maybe a guy that you hire has a bunch of guys that you just don't know, and it's too early to say with that. Again, my whole where I'm at right now, Elliot, is hiring the best possible candidate for the Philadelphia Eagles, and then we'll make decisions like that. But I will say, again, because you're speaking specifically of the offensive coordinator and the offensive staff, I got a lot of faith in the guys on that offensive staff, and we've been together. A lot of us have been together for 5+ years, not just the 5 years here, but other places. So, and again, have had a lot of success together. Obviously, we all have our fingerprints on the offense from last year, and not one of us, you name the player, you name the coach, we all have our fingerprints on it, again, led by me. And so, again, I love those guys, and we'll see where that goes. And that's the tough part of being a head coach sometimes is, when you have to make tough decisions like that. But we'll see where that goes. But again, I love those guys.
Two more. We got Brooks, and then we got Jeff.
How much of your consideration in the staff coming up is, and maybe a future-oriented thing, but if you're ever in the position to have another internal promotion, is there any consideration of developmental or how you organize staff, whether it's senior offensive assistants?
Yeah, you're always thinking about that. You're always thinking about that of can you do that? Because the reason usually, well, I guess 2 of the instances we've had guys that have gotten head coaching jobs, and you get a head coaching job because you've had success on that side of the football, and so of course you want to be able to do that and elevate when you can, and when you think it's the right fit. But I don't think it's not like you don't have to do that every time. Again, I know we have, but it doesn't have to work out that way, right? And you just, every season is a little different of a situation, and where you think if a guy can elevate and go into the spot, or if you don't think that, then you may have to go outside to do that. And so, again, you try to, as you asked Howie that question, I think somebody asked Howie that question too. It's like, we're doing everything we can do to win now. And of course, my job as a coach, and I take this very seriously, is to try to develop coaches as much as I can to help them reach their goals, just like I want to do with the players on our team. And so you'll try to develop, and you'll try to do all those different things. But we have a win now mode, and we have a win now team with all the great players that we have. And so everything's going to be thought about to how do we win the 2026 season.
Jeff, and that's it.
How much is Jalen open to doing new things and different things depending upon the new coordinator?
Yeah, I think you saw this year that he's open to do a bunch. We were under center probably more than we have been. Different motions, different things like that. Here's what I'll say: like, Jalen always wants to do. Like, Jalen's proved this to everybody that he'll do whatever it takes to win football games, and sometimes that's throwing it a bunch, sometimes that's running it a bunch, sometimes it's him handing it off a bunch, and he'll do whatever it takes to win. All I've ever felt from Jalen, and all I ever know from Jalen, is that the man will do anything he can do to win football games, and he pushes himself to do new things. He pushes himself to excel at the things that he has already done so well. And he's proven to everybody year in, year out that all he cares about is winning, and all he cares about is being able to hold that trophy up at the end of the year.
Can I clarify one thing? Because I think it's important for our fans to understand. You can do whatever it takes to win now and still build for the future and still have those parallel paths. I just don't want it to get confused that we can't do whatever it takes to build a championship caliber team next year and also continue to have really good players on this team for the future. So, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page on that.
Thanks, folks. Thanks, Nick.